What's up, everybody? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop, coming at you with a super spicy episode 176. We are recording on February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's!
Yay!
I am Warren. I'm Warren. Joining me today, we have Anita.
Anita here. Only us two.
Only us two. We have no Doug today. Doug is gone.
Yeah.
If this is the first time you're tuning into the show, Doug is our regular host, but at the moment he is absent because he is in Alaska. That is what he is doing, right? He is fishing for salmon with the bears. That is what he is doing.
Exactly.
Yes. But anyways, if this is the first time you're tuning in, sub us to on YouTube, join the SojuTalk Discord, and be a part of the nation. Yeah, before we begin, do you have anything to say, Anita?
Yes, we have announcements. So we have a big shout out to our new Fiesta Patreon, Leu.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank
Glad
you,
to have
Leu.
you.
Thank you. All right. Now, we are now at part 1 of SojuTalk episode 176. As you can tell, because of the absence of Douglas, we may be a little rough today. But we're going to give it our best. Right, we're going to make it work. We're going to give it our best. But we're going to beginning with the big new releases of the week. We're going to choose a spicy song king and then hit you with the music show winners, as Doug would say. Boom. Big new releases. So on Wednesday, February 9th, we had VIVIZ debut with BOP BOP. They are from Big Planet Made, and technically all 3 members of VIVIZ have debuted in 2015 with their former girl group G-Friend. But this is their debut as a trio, so we have no last songs. However, with G-Friend, they have had 71 music show wins so far.
Yes.
Man, what a legacy they're starting off with. What a legacy.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like it's kind of hard not to compare because they are the group, right, that has stemmed off from G-Friend, that retained most members from G-Friend. So very, very nice, very interesting.
Right. Every other venture from G-Friend, as far as we can tell, seems to be solo plans so far. Yuju debuted as a soloist a week before VIVIZ, I think. I don't know if you've been able to listen, Anita.
Yeah.
But one thing that struck me a lot about that song that's very different about this is that she's trying things different from G-Friend. Obviously G-Friend was known for a very specific musical color, especially in their earlier run, which kind of played a role in their later runs as well. Right? Like songs like Glass Beads, Me Gustas Tu, what's the other one in their trio, right?
Navilera.
Running Through Time. 시간을 달려서.
Rough, I think.
Right, Rough, right.
The English title, yeah.
Right. Those songs were obviously very iconic for the group, and then they had several ventures from there. But it was very clear, even though G-Friend went in several directions before they, ended their group activities together, Yuju's solo stuff was very, very different from the stuff they'd done before. It was very mature. It almost felt like a step farther from where Mago left off. Actual real quick clarification, I think I meant Apple, not Mago. Mago was like the more of a disco track, and Mago was the one where they had like a more of like a, I don't know, elegant goddess kind of concept. But anyways, enough about that song, enough about Yuju there. How'd you feel about Bop Bop, Anita?
Well, actually thinking about it, I think you had it right the first time. Apple was the more elegant, like almost darker mythology one, and then Mago was the disco one. Right. Yeah. But going off of that, I definitely feel like the sound here for this song is going off of Mago. It has that more disco-y, funky vibe. And I don't mind that. I guess if you liked that sound with G-Friend, it's nice to see it continue through this group in some shape or form. I do feel like it had a little bit more of a modern take here and there. Again, some of the vocals, it felt more like trendy in a sense. But I don't know. I guess if you liked what was going on there, it would make a lot of sense if you were gonna like this Like I would recommend if you liked Mago, I would recommend this for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that. It felt a lot cleaner than Mago. I think back when we covered Mago, one of our main points of criticism is that it feels a little dated, feels a little flat in terms of, not in terms of pitch, but in terms of like impact. That I think is totally gone here. I think a lot of the moments are like very, very strong. One of the stuff that really stuck out to me is the chorus. Which is very simple if you think about it. There's a very simple downward melody, and I was getting a little bit of American pop there as well. But I think, and then we had a lot of very fancy synth arrangements going on in the background. That was pretty cool too. And the overall chorus, I think, stuck out really, really well. The production there was really, really nice and really cool. What I didn't really understand about the production though is in the beginning there was a loop of backmasked vocals. Do you know what that is, Anita?
I think so.
Right, like the ones that play in reverse. That
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was cool.
I don't know. It felt random and like just abrupt to me as well. And the moment I heard it, I was like so worried. I was like, is this gonna be the entire track? Are they gonna keep looping it throughout the entire thing?
I mean, it was odd because I don't think it ever comes back again in the song, but it made the intro feel very different because I feel like this is what I'll say. This type of sound is kind of coming into its, how should I say, being a little bit overplayed, where we've heard this quite a bit, different iterations of it, and I think we kind of already predicted that it might go down in popularity as other trends come up. But I feel like having that sound and like other bits in the song that are a little odd kind of made it more interesting instead of just leaving it like 100% pure funk disco vibe.
Okay, no, I know what you mean there, and I do see that. It didn't feel like the song was particularly dated in terms of sound,
right?
Even though we're both aware this kind of sound has been very popular in K-pop to the point where, like you mentioned, it's on its way out in terms of like the way trends flow and whatnot. One thing I was thinking about, right, is these three folks, is Shinbi, Eunha, and Omji here, right? Now the question I'm asking is why these three? And maybe it's as simple as those three still wanted to be in a group afterwards. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
But that needs to, I think, personally speaking, that needs to play a part in the music as well. We need to understand why it has to be these three. What makes these three? What makes this trio a special combination? What's unique about this trio? And so far, their answer to that question feels like we are taking where G-Friend left off and continuing that instead of going to a crazy new direction. Which, for the most part, at the current moment, is a good place to start. But obviously, that's only a starting point, right? The starting point can go in any direction, really. So I think so far, it's a pretty impressive start. I was kind of impressed by it. The music video itself was very visually nice. Which
I feel like talking about the music video. That was actually one of the things where like I almost enjoyed the song a little bit more without the music video.
Really? Okay.
And here are my reasoning. Like the makeup, the hairstyling, very, very nice, very, very pretty. But at some point, the combination of the sets with the outfits, I felt like, I don't know if it was a matter of clashing or just like I couldn't see how everything was supposed to come together. And I feel like I feel like there were good things. Like there were some really good outfits. I just didn't think like it worked with everything else that we were seeing in the music video. Okay. I feel like for me, the best case where I felt like, okay, this all works was when they're like in this elevator, like a crystal elevator.
The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory scene.
Yes, that one. And they had these really, really nice outfits, very sleek, very retro, but it seemed to work. And I think the thing I noticed is that they're assigning them colors, right?
Right. the hair colors.
The blue, the purple, the red, and I was like, okay, this I like that. I like that they're trying to make them stand out individually while still being a part of the group. But I feel like at times it felt like the whole idea didn't quite realize itself very well. I feel like I could tell that they were assigning the colors, but I didn't really know if like does this color work? Like how is it being used?
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, I feel like it's there, like the idea is there, and I like it. I just feel like maybe a little bit more of refining it and making it more concise would be better.
Okay. So that the whole color matching thing
Yeah.
wasn't very impactful enough, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I feel
Okay.
like you can tell. I feel like most people could tell, like, oh yeah, this is what they're doing. But I just felt like it could have been done a little bit differently. I don't know. Maybe it's because some of the outfits, it felt like, yes, the colors are there, but I don't see how the style maybe works with all of them.
Here's what they should have done. Right now, I'm looking at their teaser images again.
Yeah.
And they're primarily in black with point colors each: red, blue, and purple.
Yes.
But you know what? I think I liked it in the beginning, but now I'm hearing your point. I don't like it at all. They should have gone with the whole Power Rangers outfit, just ill-fitting suits, all purple, all red, all blue.
But
right?
Hear me out. The reason why Power Rangers kind of works, right, and like why
You're
no,
defining-
listen. The reason why it works is because Power Rangers have the structure of the outfit is the same. The only thing that changes is the color, right? So you can tell that they're part of a group while still having an individual identity, right? Like red, yellow, blue,
Right.
So I feel like that was the idea that I thought was missing a little bit, where like the structure of what they were wearing was very different. Plus the color was different. So I feel like we could have changed it a little bit so the structure was more similar and it seemed cohesive while still differentiating with the color.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you're basically saying their next comeback should be Power Rangers themed.
Not necessarily. Taking inspiration.
I mean, 누주승은 조금 did a kind of like a superhero concept pretty recently, so
They did, yeah.
who knows where VIVIZ might go next? Maybe it'll be Save the World.
But I mean, I like this so far. I actually liked it enough that I went to check out their mini album. Very nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like the stuff. I'm interested to see more.
Here's the thing. I think I was generally impressed by the music video because I went in with pretty low expectations. Not because I have low expectations for VIVIZ. I have low expectations for their company in general. And Big Planet Made, which is generally speaking a very new company, is run primarily by MC Mong and head produced by Idan Yoptsagi.
That makes sense.
Right? So that's Double Kick. Is that their English name? Double Kick. That duo has worked on so many K-pop songs together. Yes, but I don't believe they've had a hand in producing a group, a whole entire comeback.
Right.
So that's where I went in with lower expectations because obviously the first time you're doing this, who knows? I think maybe you might have not been doing a good job of budgeting. Maybe you don't know where to spend money and where to save it, that kind of deal. Maybe you don't have good connections for people to direct your video. I don't know. When you're doing something new, chances are you're bound to make mistakes. But from there, I was like, you know what? This is a pretty standard K-pop music video, so therefore, I think it was not too. I was like, this isn't too shabby,
Not a bad start.
Yeah. It's overall not a bad start. VIVIZ with BOP BOP. Was BOP BOP a bop? Would you say, Anita?
Oh. We'll see.
All right, let's move on. So that was Wednesday. On Monday, February 14th, this morning, we had Apink come back with Dilemma. They are from the newly combined IST Entertainment. They debuted in 2011. My goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh geez now. Their last few songs have been Thank You, Domdorom, and
Great songs.
They have 52 music show-ins so far. And Apink, how you feeling about Dilemma, man? How you feeling?
I'll be honest, I've
Uh-huh.
been having high expectations for Apink because I feel like the last couple
Ooh,
of songs,
that's not a
I've
good way of
been
putting
like,
it.
okay, we
Uh-huh.
have a bit of a change, or it's been a while, right? Where
Right.
they've kind of changed the direction in their sound.
In fact, I think Eung was around when they were
Yeah,
shifting. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, oh, this kind of works. I don't mind this, and I feel like this is also very much in that
Yep.
direction as well.
Yep. Yep.
But for some reason, there was something about this that felt like it was very familiar, and I didn't quite find it as catchy, maybe, and that maybe that's what makes it difficult for me to really feel like, oh, this song was as good as
Mm,
their other releases.
okay.
But I mean, overall, I feel like the veteran vibes are very strong, like very classy. I like the aesthetic in the music video, their outfits, the sets. They were really nice. It's just something about the song that I didn't think was like as strong.
I know what you mean. I'm generally with you on this one. Overall, the song is, the finish is good. They're obviously at this point they're great vocalists.
Yes.
Hayoung and Eunji, man, they're just killing it, right? But at the same time, I feel like the chorus was one of the weakest parts. Um, and I'm looking at the lyrics again, and I don't remember how this goes, even though I've been listening to it all day.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the thing: the lyrics are, I think it was like dilemma or like I forget the exact enunciation of the words, but they
Right.
repeat dilemma 8 times, back to back to back, and then there's this vox loop that goes on that kind of mirrors their vocals, and by a vox loop I mean like those vocal lead synths that play. Typically when you play a vox lead synth, it has a very elegant kind of coolness to it, and I think that's what they were going for here, and it worked totally really really well there, to the point where that to me was a little more impactful than the actual lines themselves. And that's, you don't want that to happen in a K-pop song. The main characters are the idols themselves, the performers themselves. You don't want
People.
the producers to stand out more than you. And then the other part of that I noticed about this track is that there's another vox loop, another vocal, loop, a sample that plays every 8 bars throughout the entire track. It begins at the first of every 8 bar, and the moment you notice, it gets kind of annoying. And I was like, was this really necessary? Like, are you Travis Scott? What are you doing? And I was like, man, whoever produced this was kind of lazy. And then I looked at the credits.
Uh-huh.
Anita,
Who is it?
it's Black Eyed Pilsung.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think in the past 3 years, this has been my least favorite Black Eyed Pilsung song.
That's so interesting.
It is my least favorite Apink song as well. It's not bad by a particular by any means. But there's a lot of things about it that just felt like a little lazy. For another instance would be the second verse before you go into the build up the bridge. There's a trap section that just suddenly happens. I think Naun was
Right,
singing on top of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I maybe it's the key the thing was in. I don't know. It was just really abrupt and sudden, and I felt like the flow was just
Yeah,
suddenly
yeah,
killed.
yeah. No, I definitely agree because when I was listening to it, I wrote down like there were some like certain bits of the song that seemed to like switch, and it seemed unnecessary for some reason. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly why we chose that particular spot to change things up, and it left me a little confused. And I think, yeah, that was one of the parts that I
Yeah.
can remember.
Right. And that's one thing Black Eyed Pilsung usually does really really well. The transitions between sections whenever they introduce a new pattern in the song, it's usually transitioned really really well, and it makes sense, and it usually doesn't even feel like a new section because it builds really well. And here it felt a little abrupt, and I was like, why? It was, like this is not what happens, man. Maybe they're too busy focusing on Stacy right now because they're coming back
No.
next week.
Yeah,
no,
that's
yeah.
oh wow, did not expect that.
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm telling you. You gotta look at this is why you gotta look at the credits sometimes. Um, but then again, like Apink themselves, like I mentioned earlier, they do a really good job of performing on this track. It's obviously they've been in the girl group game for 10 years now, 11 years,
A while.
a good while, and you can tell because it's quite effortless the way they do things. You know, we have Taeyeon on the list right after this one. And obviously she's another great vocalist, but she's more of a vocal flexer, right? Right. These people aren't particularly flexing their vocals, but it's casually really effing good, you know?
It's solid, yeah.
Right. It's like, look at me. I ain't even trying, but I'm really good kind of deal. And I think that's where I was really impressed by some of the people, like Oh Ha-young, for instance. Is like her tone
Yeah.
is just so
Yeah.
addictive. Same with
She's
Eunji.
really nice.
Yeah, and I don't think she's not even the main vocalist of here. Right? She's sub vocal.
Right.
She's the sub vocal, and she was this impressive. This group is, you know, they're in a good track here. But in terms of the actual song and comeback itself, I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Like I said, it left me with some questions, and I don't know, maybe it will grow on me, but I feel like there was just certain direction in the song where I didn't think it was either memorable or super, how should I say, like impactful in the right way, if that makes sense. Like the choices and the switches, I don't know if it was the best.
Okay. Okay. I mean, generally, I agree with you. They had a lot of good parts, and you know, like you mentioned, I think the way those mixed was a little iffy. Now, one thing that is special about this comeback is that it's a 10th anniversary special album, apparently.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense.
Not really.
Dang,
I don't
Apink.
actually. This is their 12th year since debut.
Maybe like anniversary album, like
Yeah,
since their first full length.
baby. I don't know. I'm reading the press release right. I'm looking at the press release right now. It says 10th anniversary special album, but they had a 10th anniversary special fan song last year in April.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's just the album that is the commemoration
Yeah.
of.
You know what? Yeah, it hasn't been a year since April 14th, so you know maybe they're counting the entire year as a special event. All right. Well, that's Apink for y'all. Next up, we have Taeyeon with INVU. She is from this small little indie company called SM Entertainment. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, a little one. Yeah.
She debuted in 2007 with this group called Girls' Generation. I don't know how to read that.
Wow.
Girls. Is that how
Girls'
you?
Generation. Yeah.
She debuted in 2015 as a soloist. Her last 3 songs have been "Can't Control Myself," "Weekend," and "What Do I Call You." She has a whopping 100 music show wins with Girls' Generation and 22 wins as a soloist. At this
Another
point,
veteran.
she's a veteran. She's a huge veteran. I hope nobody took that first bit seriously. So we covered "Can't Control You," "Can't Control Myself" a couple weeks ago. It was a more of a melodic trap song. And then now we have INVU. How do you feel about this track, Anita?
Well, first off, this is one of the most, how should I say, like, aesthetically pleasing music videos I've seen in a while. Such a pretty music video, and by pretty I mean like the set, the transitions, the graphics, the makeup. Yeah, everything was just very, very nice. And I guess that kind of also goes into the kind of the sound as well, because with the visuals, I wasn't expecting it to be more of this synthy kind of retro sound. But it's cool. I think it makes it interesting. Same as with Bop Bop. I felt like this sound was almost out of the trend, but I guess we're still gonna see it a little bit more. I don't mind it, and especially because in combination with the music video, it was just really cool. Yeah, really nice. Also, the choreo was giving me Move Timon type of vibes there as well.
Okay, you okay. Let's talk about those
Okay,
one
let's
by
go
one.
back.
One by you did a whole buffet run over here. You got a plate of sushi, salmon, and like everything. Visual concepting. I agree with you. This is very beautiful. It's like her and Kwang Ya over here. She has entered.
Exactly.
She has entered
Yes.
SMCU over here.
She's in Kwangya now.
She is now the archery princess from Maple Story.
Yes, very much video game.
Yeah,
Futuristic.
all those archery shots. I was like, this is not expected.
Legolas, yes.
Yeah, I remember like seeing the teaser images, and I expected like aespa kind of sound, like NCT kind of sound, because of the way this looks.
That would make sense to me. Yeah.
Like especially because Taeyeon did a great job on Girls on Top with Step Back, right? So I thought maybe that's the direction they're going for, but no. Like you mentioned, it's a more of a calm pop synth sound. It's like a slow build pop song, if anything. Kind of weekendish almost.
Yes.
But not very much in a she's clearly inspired by Weekend kind of way. More like like this is
the genre. Right?
Yes. And it was really, really nice. Her vocals is just it's just something
Effortless.
Effortlessly
Yes.
amazing. What was really impressive to me at the very least was every time they build into the chorus, the way the layers, the way the vocal layers are stacked is different each time. The second time in particular, you hear like I think like at least I've heard at least 4 layers in there, 2 of which go up, 2 of which go down, and it creates this huge chorus of just Taeyeons. You know, it's like having a choir full of Taeyeons, and it's just a huge Taeyeon clone army that's just Taeyeoning it out, and it's just beautiful. And the moment the chorus hits, you're like, oh, like it's like seeing butter melt in your pan, and it just drizzles out.
Okay.
But one of the impressions I had was that it felt almost like they took a boy group track and then converted that into a girl group track. Or no, not a girl group track, but like not a group either. Like you mentioned with the choreo and all that, it kind of, you thought you were reminded of Move by Taeyeon. Taemin, right? Mm-hmm. I thought even with the sound itself, I could take down a couple pitches. This could have been a Kai thing, almost.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially because we've had like genderless, boundaryless comebacks in the recent couple, months, especially with the SM folks, right? So that's where I was like, "Ooh, like this,"
Are you thinking maybe this was originally sampled or like guided by a male vocalist, and then it was kind of switched for Taeyeon a little bit?
Maybe. Like I imagine, like, so the way SM does things, right, is they have a huge library of incomplete songs, right?
Demos, yeah.
Right, demos that producers send in, and maybe this was in their folder somewhere as like a boy male soloist track, and then they were listening to it and they were like, wait a minute, Taeyeon could do a really great job, because for me, this kind of sound, this kind of tempo, isn't very common with female soloists. And
I like it though.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. My expectations are inverted, and I was like, ooh wee.
I think it works. I feel like it works even better in the sense that it does create, or at least, see, a lot of the heavy work is done by the music video, in my opinion, because it does create that ambiance along with the song. Where if I was just hearing the song, right, I wouldn't think it was like something groundbreaking or like particularly impressive from her, because I know what she's capable of, right, as a vocalist, with other songs. So I feel like what makes it even more impressive was the music video and how it was, I guess, complemented in that way. And I feel like it it would have been different if it had been a male soloist. I don't think it would have been executed the same way or
No,
had the
no,
same effect.
no. I think the out. No, I'm not saying. I'm not trying to downplay the output result here because it was very impressive, and I will admit, even though this sound and this visual, and her is not a combination I expected, it came together really really nicely. You know.
Yeah.
I imagine when somebody first put mayo on their sushi, this is the reaction they got. Because
Revolutionary.
nobody expects putting sushi with mayo to work, and yet it does. You know what I mean? So that's that's the kind of vibe I got here. Would you say between INVU and Can't Control Myself, which one is more up the Anita alleyway?
I want to say visually, I think definitely INVU. I think I really like the aesthetic that they were going for, how it was executed. Song wise, I don't think the difference is that much because I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of either of the genres of the sounds.
Okay.
But I do feel like I like a little bit more. I like the sound of INVU as well. A little bit more.
Okay.
But it's not a huge difference.
Okay. I can kind of see that.
What about you, Warren?
I typically speaking, the sound of Can't Control Yourself is more up my alleyway. Right? Emo trap, that kind of deal.
Right.
But this thing was just so impressive that I think I gotta give it to this track over the other one. Now what's also really notable about this track at the moment is that it's charting really, really well.
Nice.
On Melon right now, it's second place.
Oh.
Second place. Given, it's the morning, so it probably doesn't reflect a whole lot. Also noteworthy, fifth place we have 11 Ive.
Oh my god.
Sixth place we have Step Back from Got the Beat. And then Yena on eighth place with Smiley. So
nice.
Anyways, yeah, I think that's all for INVU. You have any additional comments?
We're good.
Okay, that was enough about INVU. Last on the list, we have Gray So Gray featuring Yunha by Epik High, Epik High. They are from... Is this the company they're from now?
Oh, I've never heard of this one.
Okay, well, okay. No, they're from ours.
Okay.
That's their company. Their international agency is WME, which is William Morrison Endeavor. They debuted in 2003.
Oh gosh.
If you think about what they did before, they debuted in 2001, really.
Wow.
Their last couple songs have been Face ID, which was the pre-release for this album. We had Rain Song, and then we had Based on a True Story, as well as a couple other stuff here and there. This is a group with 17 music show wins so far, and this song is the title track of the second part of their 10th full-length album, 2022. Epik High is here, part 2. So obviously this means a lot to them, right?
Yeah.
But how'd you feel about Gray So Gray, Anita?
That's actually very interesting, given the context now of like this release, because the vibe, the feelings that I got while listening to this song and watching it's not a music video, it's more of a lyric video. Nostalgia, 100%. And I feel like, I don't know if it has to do with the video quality, because the music video, it's like a recording, like a video camera, like a very grainy type of vibe.
NTSC.
Giving very much mid 2000s, and it makes sense because that's kind of the beginning, the big break for them. Right. I felt that a lot, and I guess it makes sense now, knowing all this.
It's the Psy World vibe.
Yes,
So,
even in the instrumentals,
right.
yeah.
Cyworld, for context, is basically Korea's equivalent of MySpace, except you could buy the rights to certain songs to be played when you enter another person's page, right? So like I could go onto Anita's page and
like your theme song.
Right, your whatever song you choose would play as soon as they go in, which would be really annoying because when you're visiting other people's Cyworlds, when like you've done that too, Anita, right? Like you're supposed to be studying. But like you visit other people's websites and then the music plays and immediately your mom's like, Warren, what are you doing? Like and I totally agree with you. This song is very much in line with that kind of vibe. Right down to the featuring artist herself, Yunha, which these two Epik High and Yunha combination was very, very much famous for Umbrella. Which I believe is their fourth album, I think, fifth album, something like that.
It was around that time too, because she was also like, she's still really active now, of course, but I feel like I listened to more of her stuff from that era as well too, because she was really popular around that time as well.
Right, that's when she was really popular with Password 8282. No, wait, that's Davichi. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
But you get the idea, right? That kind of era. I imagine a lot of our younger audiences probably don't know who these guys are, except that they are a group that does kind of mellow, almost ballad-esque rap songs. For more of a hip hop traditionalist, this would not count as hip hop. You kind of get the idea, right? This, you don't imagine NWA doing this kind of music. Or Eminem actually, you know what, Eminem could, but given right
it's more like old school in a way, where it's not like super hard or super intense, but it's the feeling behind it, I guess.
Right it's not like Travis Scott over here. It's like there's like a melodic loop going on, hard-hitting drums. The mix itself feels like it's from that era too. And that's pretty cool, right? On the other hand, they have created this sound and kind of pattern for themselves, where personally, one of their common recurring criticisms has been that they are stuck in a loop almost, where they kind of do the same thing over and over and over again. In 2019 they had an EP that dropped called Sleepless and under dash or Blink actually. That was met with tremendous amounts of criticism in Korea because they were like, this sounds like just boring pop songs, period. And at the end of the day, that's kind of their flavor now. So when I'm listening to this song, I'm not really thinking about, like how well they're doing in comparison to Sick K, but more in terms of how does this fare in terms of playing against Umbrella or Love Love
Their
Love
own.
or what's the one with IU from the 9th album?
I can picture it, but
love book, love story, that thing. And that kind of is mirrored in their album too, where they have a lot of recurring patterns in their albums. Like there's a Tableau solo track. They have a couple trendy artists here. They have that one track where it's hard hitting, and they have a lot of like rappers on it. So like there's Face ID for this one. Last time it was No Thank You. So when I think about all of that in context for this comeback, I do feel like they do a really, really nice job of creating a certain sound and creating a certain emotion, right? The fact of the matter is, yes, they are doing something very, very repeatedly. Yes, they are kind of building off of the same equation that they've been using for over almost 2 decades at this point. But I would argue somehow they've been able to have it work for this long. And that's applaudable in its own sense, right? They have been able to create a pop-friendly hip-hop sound that works pretty effortlessly in a very almost timeless manner.
I would agree.
Right, and this kind of sound is very unique to Korean music as well. So all of that combined, I think it was pretty impressive. I don't think it was something that's personally up my preference. But at the same time, I thought it was pretty nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The beat was really, really good, by the way. That whole guitar
Yeah.
loop that plays in the background is just...
It's just like I understand, like as you mentioned, like a lot of people might feel like, oh, it's more of the same old, right? Like we've kind of heard this already from them, but like I don't know. I feel like the vibes, yes, are not that different. But the way they executed, I feel like in this comeback at least, was like extra nostalgic. I don't know. Maybe it was like the choice in instrumentation. I don't know. I just feel like, wow, this. If you told me this song was actually from back then, it had been recorded and written back then, and it was just being released now, I was like, oh, that makes complete sense.
Right. You would have believed it. Even the
Yeah.
music video, like you mentioned, it feels like something they would have done as a retro concept in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, and that's not to say this is like particularly dated or anything. I just feel like they portray
No,
a
no.
certain amount of nostalgia really, really well. Yeah, I don't know. This was nice. Face ID featuring Sake, Just This, and Geary Boy is also really, really cool. That beat is just really, really nice. Has almost a Rick Rubin kind of take to it. I don't know. Yeah. Any last words about Gray So Gray by Epik High featuring Yunha? Yunha was great, by the way. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say like her vocals just work. Like they just really, really work for this type of genre, and it makes complete sense why she's been featured before. So I don't know. I guess it's more like going back to what has already worked and been successful, or like I don't know. Like it felt very like homey while being nostalgic in that sense. Like it wasn't necessarily something risky or like groundbreaking, but it's nice
right.
because it does make you think of that time, I guess.
And to kind of add on to that a little bit, the songs off of Sleepless and Blank felt lazy to me.
Okay.
Here it feels a lot more like, yes, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna put a lot of effort to it. And that's where
Intentional.
right,
Yeah.
right. There was one thing. Do you guys know about Yunha belt Nuna thing?
What is it?
I'll keep it short. I just can't forget about. I just always think about this when I think of Yunha now. There's a clip out there of Yunha. She's performing, I think, on Inkigayo or Music Bank or something. She's wearing a skirt, a gray knit sweater, and a belt. And it's just an aesthetic belt, right? I don't think it's actually meant to hold up her skirt. But it's there. The belt is there. And it's very, very tight.
Oh no.
And then so like she's singing for however 4 minutes or so, and in the third minute, right, like it's climaxing into the most emotional part of the song, and then she's belching, and then the camera zooms into her face.
Oh my god.
And then it cuts to a overall shot of her like entire performance with the stage and everything and a bit of the audience, and her belt has popped open.
Oh no. Oh my god. What?
Oh man, I need to. I'll put that on my Twitter so people can watch. It's a meme. It's not horribly offensive or anything. She finds it funny too. I think so. I think that's all we have for these 4 songs. We talked a lot. Other big releases of this week include Winner featuring Ash Island by Ravi, right? We also had Don't Stop by ATEEZ. We had Astro's Moonbin and Sanha's Ghost Town, as well as Can't Live Without You by Hasong Woon. Yeah.
Yes, so now we're at Spice King, guys. The Soju chart from last episode, 175, was Premise 9 DM, picking up a 3rd crown, so they're not in the Hall of Spice. Not eligible for any ranking this week, unfortunately. And then we had Moonbyo with Lunatic in second place, and then NCT Mark with Child in third place. All right. And then the new contestants are VIVIZ, how do we pronounce it again? VVC, VVIZ, VVZ, BOP BOP, Apink, Dilemma, Taeyeon's INVU, and Epik High, Gray So Gray.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Doug's not here, but we do have his votes.
Ooh.
So Warren, you want to start off with Doug's input?
Yes. So Doug gave third place to Dilemma by Apink.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That was kind of I thought he would like this. We have INVU by Taeyeon on second place.
Makes sense.
And then we end off with BOP BOP on first place by VIVIZ. I think that's kind of expected for his.
Actually, my chart differs on one song actually.
Oh, okay.
And it's the third spot. I actually have Jamie Pity Party in third spot again. I don't know. I was listening to the new tracks and then I came back to this one, and something about the melody is just really nice. Like, I know the chorus is not the strongest, but the way it starts and how we come back to that melody throughout the song, I thought it was really, really nice. So I'll keep it in third. I think it's still a really good song. Check it out. And then second place, I also have Taeyeon's INVU. Like I mentioned, definitely watch the music video. This is one of those songs where you need to watch the music video. I feel like to get a full experience of the song with the visuals, because it's really, really nice. I like where it's going. This aesthetic is very nice. And then in first, I also have VIVIZ's BOP BOP. I don't know, very, very, very groovy, funky vibes. I don't think it was perfect in this like iteration of the sound, and with them coming from G-Friend and Mago and all that. But I like where it's possibly gonna go next.
Okay, it's a good start, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. That's why it's on third place for me. That's why it's on third place.
Why is it on third?
I liked it. That's why it's on third. What do you mean? Why is it on third? I liked it. That's why it's on third.
What do you like more?
You want me to put it on fourth because I like it, Anita? Is that what you're saying?
No. Okay, third is fine.
You better stop complaining. Jeez. Oh my god. All right. Apink by Dilemma. You know what? We kind of pooped on it a little bit, but at the end of the day, I did like it. I think the production is great. It's very effortless. Sure, it's not maybe very impactful, but when you listen to it, I think there's a certain groove that comes out of it, and it works really, really well. That's why I'm giving it second place.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you know? I'm putting it on second place.
What?
That leaves me with one song I like more than others this week, and it's INVU by Taeyeon. Oh boy, her vocals are just chef kiss. That's not what a chef's kiss sounds like, but there you go. Yeah, that's my chart of the week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
You want to read the Spice Gochu gang votes?
Yes. So the Gochu gang actually agreed with you because they also gave Taeyeon first place with 34 votes. Yes, and now we have VIVIZ also in second place with 21 votes, and then Epik High in third place with 16 votes. Very nice. I was surprised by that. I didn't think it would make it the top 3, but nice.
Okay, all right. I was tallying stuff up
while
we were
good.
speaking. Let me just double check, and we have exactly 12 votes, right? 4 entities, 3 each, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so this is that. This is
drum
that.
roll.
All right, we have the results. Anita, you want to read them?
Yes. So surprise, we've got Taeyeon, INVU, with the first place win.
There we go.
first win for this one with 16 total votes. Second place, VIVIZ with 14 votes. And then third place, Apink, Dilemma with 4 votes. Did not see this.
Wait, does 4 make sense? Doug gave it third. I gave it
1.
3. Didn't you also place it on third? Wait, no, you gave
No,
JB
I
third.
didn't even have this.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even have Apink, which is why I'm surprised.
Yeah, you should apologize to Apink, Anita. How could you? How dare you?
I mean, to be honest, I don't mind it. I don't hate the song. I just feel like it wasn't it, you know?
No, I think that makes sense. Well, will Taeyeon be able to retain Spice King next week? Find out next week.
Yes.
In episode 177.
Yes. Now we're at show winners. IVE with 11.
Wow.
Got another win on Music Bank, so they're up to 12 music show wins so far.
That's crazy.
And then Yena with Smiley had her first win ever on M Countdown. Congrats to her. And I guess that reflects what you mentioned on the Melon chart.
I guess it does. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
The 4 More Eyes one, folks, are doing really, really well.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
All right. Well, I think we are now at the end of part 1 of Soju Talk, episode 176. We will be back after a short break. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
We are back at it with part 2 of Soju Talk episode 176, where we discuss the recent K-pop news and events and give you the state of the nation. Alrighty, Anita, start us off with the top news article of the week.
Yes, right off the bat. So members of upcoming boy group from IST Entertainment will be chosen through a survival program. We kind of mentioned IST a little bit earlier, but the program will be aired through MBN, Kakao TV, and One The K. And IST is teaming up with Kakao Entertainment and Sony Music Japan for this endeavor.
Wow.
So in case people missed it, this company is basically a kind of new conglomerate that is now housing groups like Apink, Victon, The Boys, and they're coming up with a new boy group through this program.
Yeah.
Very interesting. There's a couple of new information about it because they've released teasers here and there, and they've released profile pictures as well for the members. And it's going to consist of 13 trainee contestants, so they're already in the company, and they're just going to be solidifying their lineup. They haven't announced how many people will be in the group, but it's going to consist of voting from the audience, K-pop mentors, performances, the typical stuff.
Right.
And they also mentioned this thing of balance games.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. I haven't seen like a ton of details as to what that will mean for the show, but that's what stood out to me a lot, that mention.
It looks like their press releases are really pressing the phrase balanced survival audition.
Yeah. What could that mean? What do you think that would mean? Because I mean, a balance game?
Right. We did one a while back, right? Would you rather eat poop flavored curry or curry flavored poop?
Yeah, so it's
right?
more like it's more like a question like this or that.
Right.
But how is it incorporated?
I guess their choices determine their survival every week.
Maybe
they have to
pick
pick
the right one.
Eating poop flavored curry and curry flavored poop every week.
No,
every week. That's what's gonna be.
Yeah, well, very very fitting to that is the title of the program will be The Origin.
Right.
A, B, or what? Question mark.
Or what?
Very interesting.
Weird name.
I don't know what that what means, but
if
it
you
will be
guys
interesting.
have been following the boy group debut scene for a while, some of the more known trainees that will star on the show is Kim Yeon-gyu from YG's Treasure
Treasure.
Chest. Yeah.
Yes.
Then we have Jung Jun-ho, Ryu Jun-min, and Seok Lak-won. What a weird name. Seok Lak-won. All of which used to be SM Entertainment trainees.
Oh, I did not know about them.
Yeah. Well, now you
Interesting.
do. Another thing to note, I think, is this is co-produced with Kakao TV, right?
Right.
They've been putting in a lot of big money into their shows because they've really been ramping up their streaming platform. So
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah.
if you're just interested
Interesting.
in a spicy boy group survival show, this might be up your alley. Who knows?
Yeah, there's already stuff on YouTube. They did like a performance of a song, all 13 of the contestants. Very interesting. I know there's been a rumor, I don't know how confirmed this is, of one of the mentors being JB, formerly
Oh,
of GOT7.
wow.
Very interesting. I wonder who else is in the possible lineup. But yeah, check it out if you're interested.
Check it out. Check it out. All right. All right, moving on to the next article. We have Serum of Fromis9 going under controversy regarding her comments in a recent V Live. Ooh, oh no.
Ah,
Here's how it went down. On February 11th, Fromis9 started a V Live with several members, including their captain, which is their version of leader, Serum. Now, during the V Live began with members who are still chatting off the record, and that kind of conversation flipped into the V Live. And Serom at the tail end was spotted saying, and I quote, "I'm sick of this. I need to go home." She said that in Korean, but you get the idea. I'm sick of this. I need to go home. Does not bode well, given it's not bode well. It might reflect poorly, right? Given they're doing a V Live. She did later, however, clarify right after the V Live. She clarified on Weverse that due to Taeyeon testing positive for COVID a couple weeks ago, right? We said this a couple weeks ago.
yeah.
Because of Taeyeon testing positive, all members had to self-isolate in accordance with the Korean COVID-19 regulations. And that she was commenting that she's sick of the whole self-isolation period that she had to go through. She also added that because Taeyeon has not fully recovered from COVID-19 yet, members have not been able to visit their dorm, which is where Taeyeon is currently self-isolating. And therefore, she was saying, I want to go home. So, I mean, the logic checks out, right?
Yeah.
Right. The logic checks out. But it didn't stop from the comments from going buck wild on this person. That's where it gets a little, needlessly spicy.
The medicines.
The thing here that we're building off of that I've noticed is that Fromis9 in their debut story was a little controversial. Obviously, people are more aware of the implications it had for X1 and IZ*ONE. But Fromis9 debuted with Idol School, which also went through a huge series of controversies regarding who were picked and whatnot.
Treatment as well, yeah.
Right,
The
right.
living conditions.
Right. And people were like, oh, why are you sick of your stolen job that you stole? So you kind of get the idea. You kind of get the idea. Now, obviously, we don't know if what role Serom played in that rigging controversy, right? So we're stretching our legs a little bit here. And also, like, her excuse, sure, it's an excuse, but it does make sense,
Yeah, it's understandable if that's the
understandable.
situation.
At the same time, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate a little bit to, just give full context. Because for those of you guys who haven't seen that clip, that's all over YouTube. Go check it out. There's a certain vibe change when Serom is saying the comment, and then next to her is Hayoung, who's like, I think she's like whispering to Serom, and
We're
then
live.
Serom is like, oh wait, we're on the cam now. So here's the thing. Here's my takeaway with it. At the end of the day, we're all people. We're all sick of our jobs during the day.
You're taking the stance that she didn't actually say the explanation that she gave, right? Like that's not.
Here's the thing: if she was talking about COVID, fine, good for her. If she wasn't, is what we should think about, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what most people are thinking about.
Right. If she was actually talking about her job, people are gonna be sick of it all the time. I'm sick of my job. Actually, my manager, I love my job.
No, you're not.
I love my job. I want to raise, actually. I'm just kidding. So I from that perspective, as a person who, works for a living, I understand. Right?
Yeah.
I understand. At the same time, a VLive is a place where you chat with people that support you, both emotionally and financially.
Yeah.
So if those people hear that, of course they're gonna run with the wait, what did she just say kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is all to say, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that stance, and I guess my perspective after seeing the clip, right? Because I did see it,
right?
And kind of the situation, and to be honest, I feel like I agree. I don't think whether it was the explanation that she put out, if that was the truth, or if it was she was just tired and she wanted to go home. I feel like it's still unfortunately not great because it's a matter of professionalism, I guess.
Right.
Where like her commentary was done at a time where she was technically supposed to be, I guess, quote unquote, professional, right? Like she was still in with an audience, right? And I guess kind of going through with that, I guess, job of talking with the fans, like interactions, like I feel like it can definitely be enjoyable for the artist, but it can also be very tiring, like with anybody, right? Like you work in customer service, you know what it's like.
Right.
So I feel like I understand it in either situation, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's unprofessional to do that, know? So I get the flack, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, I wish it wouldn't have happened the way it did.
And another thing I want to point out is how I didn't expect this to be this casual, the way they run things personally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. When we record the show, and by the way, we're not like professional podcasters, right? We're just people in their basements talking about K-pop 24/7 for some reason.
It's very much a hobby, guys.
Right. This is completely a hobby. These guys are full-time. And yet, we count down before the beginning of the show because, right, like...
Yeah.
Like I don't want you guys to hear about my toilet activities on the show. Like, that's not nice to hear.
I hope you don't want to hear.
Oh, if you guys want to hear, I will let you guys know.
No.
Full details, everything. But yeah, we count down to make sure we're all aligned with when we begin, recording or streaming, whatever. Why didn't the staff let them know that they're starting off the bat? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I guess it's not helpful that there didn't seem to be much direction.
Right.
And like people were all doing their own thing when it started recording.
Like if I'm the manager, first thing I'm doing is, hey kids, shut up. We're gonna start the thing now.
No, not like that. It's just like a countdown. Like we're going live on 3, 2, 1. Like just so people know. I think this. To be honest, I feel like that's whether you're doing this for your job, professionally or not. I just feel like it's common sense, like courtesy to do that.
Right.
Like if you're putting somebody on speaker, right? You say like, hey, you're on speaker now. Like FYI, people will be able to hear you. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it is a little odd in that sense.
It's like those people who like go to the bathroom in the middle of Zoom lectures with their laptop. You know what I mean? Like, and if you mute it, fine. Nobody's gonna know. But sometimes you run into people who don't mute themselves, and you hear the whole activity going on in the background, and you're like, this is not pleasant. I would like to hear my professor's voice and not you flushing the toilet. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the reaction of the fans, right? Like, because they obviously feel hurt if they hear somebody who they think is being sincere, and honest and wants to do this, right? And then say quite the opposite. Yeah, I can understand it, but I feel like there should be a certain level of understanding. Like, we shouldn't expect all these people to be like not tired.
Right. Taeyeon isn't gonna be in. She's not gonna be 24/7 support mode. Like, she's not Amazon customer service AI bot over here. So like, yes, you're gonna be. If she was sick of her job, I totally understand. It's a very exhausting job. It's way more exhausting than my work from home job. I'm literally wearing PJs while I record right now and during the day too. So here's the thing.
Just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bad luck, but at the same time, I feel like they've been on a good run with their music so far. Like, they've been one of the groups we've been so favorable of their music with in the past couple of years. I've been a huge fan of their music since the days of Love Bomb, and then I went back and listened to their old stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So it's not a good look, but at the same time, I hope this isn't I hope this isn't more than a small bump in their highway of a road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to some other news. Let's talk about YG, Anita.
Yeah. So YG, they have teamed up with Binance in order to advance into NFT business. Yes, everybody's doing this nowadays. So Binance will provide the platform and technology infrastructure, while YG will provide the content. The CEO of YG Entertainment, Hwang Bo-kyung, stated, quote, "As leader in K-pop, we will continue to build an eco-friendly innovation model that suits it. It was an opportunity to further strengthen the bond between the two people," end quote. Very interesting.
Okay.
YG. NFT.
I don't know exactly how NFT is gonna do that thing.
Yeah.
Eco-friendly NFT, kind of antonyms. Very opposite
there's been
concepts.
Some controversy on that.
Yeah. Maybe they're gonna mine NFT. Maybe they're gonna build these blockchain NFTs in the metaverse itself, so that all the air pollution goes into the metaverse and not the real verse over here.
Oh.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, that's totally how it works. Pull out your GTX 3070 in the metaverse, and you'll get access to your metaverse.
Meta.
For your NFTs.
That's crazy.
Non-fungible tokens. I don't know. Everybody's doing them these days, but at the moment, we've yet to see material outcome from what's going on over here. Yeah.
Yeah, like they say they will provide the content, but I'm wondering what that content will be. I think we've mentioned before, like maybe actual photo cards, like digital photo cards that would be in this form, in this platform, but I don't know. We'll see.
It's not even going to be the actual photo card itself, right? It's going to be a link to the photo card. You're going to own the link to it. I don't understand fully. Maybe if there's some big brain guy over there, they can elaborate. I've been doing a lot of digging into this recently because NFTs and metaverses are like something that gets brought up in the tech industry so often these days.
Yeah.
I'm not fully convinced. Maybe I'm a boomer now. Maybe that's what it is, but
we'll see.
We'll see. Moving on. Brand New Music has announced that their new boy group will be named Unite. This is going to be spelled with YOUNITE. So that's Night. Night like Fortnite. The group will include former X1 members, Lee Eun-sang, as well as former JYP Entertainment trainee and Loud contestant Im Kyung-moon. Now, the group is scheduled to debut sometime in the first half of this year, 2022.
Interesting that they're putting Eun-sang in this because he's been out for a while. He was doing solo stuff for a bit.
I guess this was all build up to Unite. Maybe he was retaining popularity for Unite.
Maybe. Interesting.
I don't know. You have any thoughts about the Im Kyung-moon person off Loud? Weren't you watching that show, kind of?
I didn't keep up with it. I saw
Okay.
clips here and there. They're all very young, so I assume he's also in that younger demographic.
Hmm.
But they were all like pretty talented. Like they're very young, but like I saw a couple of performances and like they were pretty good. So I don't remember this person particularly, but I'm
Hmm.
guessing it's they were kind of scouted after the show. So that's
Mm.
pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe brand new music is gonna have bright futures for these kids. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Right. So right next, more news with YG, specifically Big Bang. So the comeback for Big Bang will take the form of a digital single, not a regular or mini album. And alongside that, T.O.P will end his contract with the agency after participating in this new song, as he is currently preparing to establish a one-man agency.
Oh, so it's not completely over yet. We have one thing
Right.
left.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this it's very interesting because I think we covered not too long ago, maybe the last
Last week,
episode
I
that
think. Yeah.
yeah, that he was starting to do things on his own, but I didn't know he was actually gonna leave and do his own agency.
Yeah. I guess so. I'm kind of interested in where he's gonna go next. Um. That being said,
Yeah,
I'm kind of worried this is gonna be your last thing as Big Bang together.
well, I guess it could be.
Could be.
I don't. I mean, it's possible that he's like like doing his self agency, one man agency thing and still participating, but I don't know if it really implies that.
Okay. Well, I'm also a little sad it's just a single and not a
Yeah.
project. All this waiting for a
Mm.
comeback and it's a stupid single. Teddy,
And quite anticlimactic, yeah.
I demand more music. I am thirsty for more music from this group.
From Teddy?
Oh no, not Teddy. Big Bang. Big Bang. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, we'll
Uptension.
see.
Uptension has joined Universe today on February 14th, while
Mm.
Suho will be joining Bubble on the 16th. Cool, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, everybody's joining a new platform. We have some COVID news. COVID ain't
Oh
over,
boy.
folks. Here is a
Wait.
list of people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the past week. Tablo of Epik High, Sonu of
No.
Enhypen, Wonwoo of 17. All members except Woobin and Wonjin of Gravity,
Oh my
Leah
god.
and Yeji of ITZY, Yonghwa of CM Blue, Sujin of Weekly, and every member of Tempest. And their debut has now been delayed from March 2nd. Well, to March 2nd from February 21st because of this COVID situation.
Wow. Yo, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
Tablo,
folks.
Tablo tested positive and he just released something.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if that.
I imagine Tablo's not like getting ready. I don't think he's like practicing choreo for his next Inkigayo performance.
No. But I mean, like, for example, like, I know that they had, like, they were featured in the Knowing Brothers, right?
Right,
On the
right,
Gangnam.
right.
So they were doing some
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
for promotion. So I'm guessing it's gonna be cut short.
I hope they resume right after Tablo's back because
Yeah.
they're quite the funny crew. All right, you want to talk about
Yes.
announced big comebacks, Anita?
Yes, we have a couple here. So Billy, the Triple L, on February
Ooh.
23rd, and then Baekhyungguk on March 2nd.
Mm.
Weekly, Triple E on March 7th. Stray Kids on March 18th. Kim Usak sometime in the future, and Super Junior sometime in the future.
Okay. Maybe triple letters is the new K-pop trend that we haven't thought about yet.
I guess
Yeah.
quite odd. It makes it hard for searching because it just automates to something else, like what is more typical
Right.
spelling. But I guess
Billy,
it
yes.
works.
Billy, yes. You're looking for Eilish, right? Here is Bad Boy by Billy. All right. Well, that's comebacks. We're at State of the Nation. State of the Nation.
Yeah.
Before we dive into our usual shenanigans, and so internally we have a rule to not talk about K-pop in State of the Nation, right?
Or not to focus too much, right?
Right. Because we talk about K-pop for an hour and a half or so. We have other. We're not full-time K-pop human beings. So we talk about other stuff too. But I wanted to bring up a very core thing about K-pop today because there's been stuff leading up to this week, and ideally we will talk about this when Doug is still in the room. But I wanted to strike while the iron is still hot. So I wanted to bring up, what is K-pop?
It's such a big question.
It's such a big. I know it's a big question, right? And I'm talking about defining K-pop as a genre, as a culture. What is the thing? What are the traits about K-pop that allow us to call a track or a comeback or an artist K-pop, right? And before you guys rip on me for genres are like a meaningless label. Hear me out, right? Hear me out. Defining what K-pop is kind of important because that term is used as a tool for communication to kind of communicate, what a song might sound like. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Right. That's what genre. I think that's one of the biggest rules of what genres are is they communicate to us a certain expectation for music or comebacks or whatnot. And this year, what was really interesting was the Korean Music Awards. Let's begin there, right?
Yeah.
Korean Music Awards is a award ceremony in Korea that is unlike every other music award show in Korea. They are 100% voted by the critics and nobody else.
No audience, right?
No audience vote, right? They do consider sales. They do consider success. BTS has won Artist of the Year, period, for 2 years in a row a couple years ago. Right? They do consider popularity as well, but they also take a lot of quality into consideration, which they're critics. So yes, they're very subjective about certain things. Like this year, one of the biggest controversies was lack of Paranol, which was the huge indie breakout of the year. Not a single nomination from those folks. However, we had the Volunteers taking so many nominations. Volunteers is a band with Baekhyun in it.
Yeah.
And people are just kind of meh on it, but the critics are a huge Baekhyun stan group, I guess. So she's in a lot of things. I don't know. Her album was fine. It wasn't. I didn't think it was album of the year material, but here we go. Right. What they did this year that's very different, and the reason I'm bringing this up is they created a separate category, right? They have separate genre categories for every year's awards. They have a hip hop category, they have an R&B category, they have they have metal, they have jazz vocalists, jazz performances, and they obviously have the pop category, right? This year they have a K-pop category on top of the pop category. And people in the comments were like, K-pop is Korean pop. Why is there 2 Korean pop categories going on?
Pops.
Right. We have pop and we have pop. Which one is... And it's based on the nominations. It's kind of evident what they're going for here, right?
Who's in which?
Right. Let me read out to you who's in what. In Pop Song of the Year nominations, we have Next Level by aespa, ASAP by STAYC, Butter by BTS, After School by Weekly, and 01 Love Song I Know I Love You featuring Tori by Tomorrow by Together. Name. Right? So these are the kinds of songs that we cover on the podcast, right? K-pop.
Yeah,
K-pop. Now we move on to Pop Song of the Year category. And
the one you just covered was K-pop category, right?
Right, that was the K-pop songs category.
Okay.
Here's the pop songs category, and it's Akmu Naka with IU, IU's Lilac, When This Rain Stops, Traffic Light by Lee Mujin, and However by Lee Seung-hwan and Sonu Jung-ha. Now, this is where I'm like, okay, I kind of understand the difference a little bit. And they kind of outlined this in their announcement live stream as well. The K-pop, the way they seem to be defining it is K-pop is idol music, pop music is from non-idol musicians. typically speaking, we have Wendy and then IU here, which is a little controversial.
But they're, I mean, I guess they're not considering them idols in this version of their artistry because they're not doing a typical idol thing. Is that right? Which would be the performance aspect of it.
I think that's a big part of it. I think performance is the key word there. Because other than Lilac by IU, all of these other songs don't have choreography, right?
Right.
Other than Wendy, it doesn't have the typical like K-pop comeback marketing scheme with huge high budget music videos, packaging, that kind of deal. And this is also evident in their pop album category, which is Kim Hyun-chul, Lee-yeon, Jung-cha-sik, IU, and Akmu. Three of which, like Kim Hyun-chul is like 60 years old now at this point. He got nominated for City Breeze and Love Song, which is a huge city pop album. So at the end of the day, yes, that's pop, but it's kind of different from the K-pop that we cover on the show.
I guess this is more of a question to, I guess, people who would be more native listeners. But do you think it reflects what's considered mainstream and what's not considered mainstream?
I don't think it's about mainstream or not mainstream. I think it's because if you look at K-pop songs of the year, I would 100% argue Next Level, Butter, ASAP was definitely mainstream. But 01 Love Song was something that, you know, K-pop fans were really, really excited about, less so the general public audience, right?
Okay, yeah.
So this is where I go back into something I mentioned on the podcast, like in the middle of last year, a while ago. And it's that like some of the K-pop songs we cover in the show is not like general public friendly at all, because it's a very divided scene right now. And it also is noticeable in the way these songs are produced as well, right? The way these songs come out, the way these songs are made, the way these things are sung has a very different pattern than some of the more traditional pop songs that we see from Korea, right? Like the other example that I had earlier was Baekhyun, who was a constant nominee for pop musician over and over again. She hasn't had pop stuff this year, so I think she was nominated for the volunteers stuff she did with Modern Rock, right? But I feel like the way things are being defined, it kind of makes sense to differentiate between Korean pop and K-pop now, because there is so much songs, there's so much music coming out of this industry and this culture that's so different from a lot of the pop songs in Korea.
Like a subgenre, you mean?
I guess it could be a subgenre. I don't want to see it as a subgenre thing, because I don't want to establish, you know, top-down relationships.
Oh, yeah,
right?
okay.
Right. I see it as its own thing, and I really want to make that clear. I really want to make that clear, because a lot of the comments, especially on Twitter and on the YouTube live stream, they were like, "Oh, like you guys are giving K-pop its own category because it's not good enough for pop," and I'm like, I don't think that's what it is. I really don't think that's what it is. I think it has more to do with this is such a huge industry. It's a huge culture. And it's so separated and divided from the rest of the pop industry that it just doesn't make sense to view them as one big entity together anymore, right?
Do you think that, I guess I don't really know how things have changed in the music industry like through the decades, right? But do you think now is the right time to do it, or do you think this should have been done a while ago?
I was thinking about this in the middle of last year, so I guess I don't know.
It's about time.
I guess from my perspective, I think it's a right time to do it. K-pop, especially, has proved itself to be a long-lasting industry rather than a trend or a fad internationally, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree K-pop has been popular internationally for a couple of years now. Sure, not everyone's as popular as BTS, but you know, we are somehow able to pull in thousands of views on this podcast because we talk about K-pop in an English thing.
There you go.
There you go. I think that says something. Am I not allowed to say the numbers? I wasn't too specific about it. Whatever. The point here is, I think the way these guys are defining it is not too different from the way I'm defining it. K-pop, when you do a K-pop release, it typically means there's a huge marketing plan that is supported by the comeback. There is a team of people who support the production of everything that goes into, right? There's teaser music videos, teasers, images,
The performance too, I
right?
feel
There's
like.
whole dance choreo. Sometimes they'll have choreo versions of the music video. You know, everyone needs a plot now. Like, lore is a huge part of K-pop, to the point where if you don't have lore anymore, I'm gonna say your debut is lazy.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like the need for lore. It's more like there needs to be some sort of theme or something visually or as a concept, you know. And I feel like that's very common nowadays. I don't know if it's a staple thing, like it's always been there, but it's like more apparent now. And I feel like that adds to that differentiation within pop in
Right,
general.
right. There's like small differences that add up into a very different resulting output, and it feels weird to compare them against each other. And here's the thing: somebody might be saying, "Wait, K-pop is short for Korean pop, so shouldn't every pop song that comes out of Korea just be called K-pop?" And a very similar argument was actually made in the hip hop industry last week, right?
Oh, I heard.
Right. This is a big thing. If you're not familiar with K-hip hop, don't worry. I'm not gonna dig too deep into it. But here's what happened. There's a rapper called Loopy. He's a bald guy. You know, does a lot of auto-tune. He's bald. What are you gonna do? He's bald.
I feel like
He does not have a full bush of hair because he decides to shave his head every week. I don't know. The point of the matter is, for one reason or the other, he started going on a rant online about how Korean hip hop is non-existent because it lacks a lot of the essence that is in hip hop in America. And then the biggest rebuttal to that came from another rapper called Kundi Panda, who said, hip hop musicians are doing hip hop music in Korea, therefore it's Korean hip hop. That's the argument that he gave. And a lot of it came down to this. It was the idea that obviously, here's the thing. Obviously, hip hop music isn't something Korean people invented. It's very obviously Black culture first and foremost.
yeah.
Right. It came from them as well as other music genres like R&B, jazz, blues, that kind of deal. Hip hop is one of the newer iterations of that line of music genres, I guess. But what Kundi was arguing for is that the Korean hip hop musicians looked at the way hip hop music is used as a way in terms of communication within the Black community, right?
Expression, yeah.
Right. It's they see that as a medium of a vessel of communication, and then they use that methodology in the Korean context in Korean culture, right? And
For the Korean experience.
right. And therefore, because they're taking a very similar approach to a different cultural topic, you end up with Korean hip hop. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
I think of all, yeah.
Right. And see, that's where I think it's very different between K-hip hop and K-pop, because K-pop, the word we use, K-pop, the five examples I had earlier, use a very different approach than pop music of other countries.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
When you think about pop music in America, it's kind of rare to think about a 6-member girl group. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's sure we have Spice Girls, like, but like,
Well, Spice Girls from the UK.
are they?
But the thing is this, like there's the idea of a boy group and a girl group. I think that we can start there in pop, right? Like that's not unique to, I think, a specific country. I don't know if there's a certain like origin, like where it was like the first boy group, the first girl group. I don't know if there is, or if it kind of all happened at the same time when pop music kind of had its bigger moment in the mainstream, but I think what most people see as like what makes it K-pop, right? Like more unique to the region, right? Is like the concept of the idols, right? Like so like the industry that is behind it, the companies that are behind these groups, and the management of it. Because I think there's certain things where we in the West, at least in the US, from my experience, I don't think I've seen groups that are managed in that same way.
Right.
Or that do the same things.
And that definitely plays a role in the way the music sounds as well. If you think about the ongoing trends of K-pop and whatnot, it does, I guess there's a bit of a mirror, but it does not sound similar in terms of, the way trends work. Like, for instance, who do I think is a very popular Korean pop musician? Busker Jang Bum-jun. Right? He's, I think, an epitome of what I would call a Korean pop musician. And you don't see that kind of sound coming out of any of the, K-pop musicians. So all in all, I think this is where, if you want to think deep the way we do, this is a time, I think now is a good time these days, just in general, not today in particular, is a good time to, define this genre on your own way, do some research, or think about the context of everything. Think about, if you're able to, think about what's in the music industry outside K-pop but within Korea.
Because I mean, like you mentioned, like there's other genres outside of this, right? And I think it's definitely more insightful to, I guess, explore other genres as well, to see and like, oh, how are these different? How are these similar? And I guess, maybe if more people did that, it would be more, I guess, more informative, and like it's not just pop. It's a very specific type of pop.
Right. No, it gets the conversation going, discussion, drives the industry forward. I see sometimes foreign fans complaining that they are not heard. Speak up, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying you guys don't speak up. You guys definitely do. But this is a form of speech that we don't see often. But at the end of the day, if you want to ignore all this and say K-pop and Korean pop is the same thing, I would invite you to comment down below why. Or if you agree with us, comment down below why. I don't know. This is something that's very much a conversation rather than I am defining what it is for you and that put it on Wikipedia and source me, and that's not what I'm doing.
There's a lot of perspectives.
Right. Yeah. Loopy was stupid though. I don't know why he went on that rant. Dumb Loopy. Loopy's being loopy. That's what it is.
I'm sure he has his perspectives on it, but like, I don't know, maybe it's not taking into consideration other perspectives as well,
Yeah, I mean, you can't just say an industry doesn't exist. It was like, what do you mean? What do you mean K-pop doesn't exist? You know what's really annoying to me as a K-pop fan of like 13 years now at this point? You Anita, you probably know people who say this as well, because we saw so many of these people in college, but people will walk up to me and they'll be like, Korean hip-hop is boring because it lacks originality. And I'm always like, what have you listened to outside of Show Me the Money? You've probably listened to Show Me the Money, BTS, and Epik High. Those three things are the things you probably listened to and then judged an entire culture and an industry. What is this?
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess maybe that's also like the same argument that you're making, right? Like, you can't just call it like generalized, right? Based on one sample size, like one thing that you're listening to. Like, you have to kind of widen your listening group, your listening content.
Open your ears. They're closed.
Yeah, to really get a better idea of like what's being produced. Like, how are the things different? How are they the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just listen to more music, guys.
Yeah. K-hip-hop isn't all about just money, drugs, and sex. There's just other stuff too. My goodness.
Yeah, from all regions, you know, like I think there's a lot of different content.
That rant about K-hip-hop I will not do here because that's not something everyone's interested in. But how's your life outside of that, Anita?
Oh, outside of that, very quick things.
Yeah.
I watched a movie slash special episode for the series Kingdom on Netflix. So this was the one that came out a couple years ago, not too long ago, about the zombies and historical drama, you know, context, and it was really good and it was really popular, but they've taken a bit of a break for season 3, which I think is still gonna happen. I don't think it's been confirmed, but everything leading up to the end of season 2 made it seem like there was gonna have another season. So we're still waiting on that. But the movie basically focuses on Ashin of the North, which is the last character we're introduced to in season 2.
Is he from North Korea?
Ashin is it's a protagonist played by Jun Ji-hyun, very very famous actress in Korea.
Wait, are we talking about the Jun Ji-hyun from
Yes,
that guy from The
Yes.
Stars or whatever the English title?
yes. So she's introduced to the story, and we kind of don't know anything about her, but this is basically the background of her
Okay.
character, and it also works as a bit of like background for the origin, I guess, of the zombie disease thing.
Oh, so
Which
it's
is
like a
a-
prequel.
Yes, it's a prequel to the events that happened in season 1 and 2.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's pretty cool. It went by really quick. It's not too long. It's like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. And I guess it definitely felt like a setup for the next thing. So I'm hoping it's happening sometime soon. I don't know when they're going to announce it, but I'm really interested. I'm still into the story.
If it's a prequel, is Jun Ji-hyun actually in the thing, or is it just the child
Yeah.
actress?
So she's a good chunk of it is like her as a child, right? And like how things ended up the way they did.
Is
and,
Jun
like-
Ji-hyun in it though?
Yes, she's in
Okay.
it.
Go watch it.
Yes, she's in it. She's in it for like a good latter half of the story because it's basically the events of her as an adult right before she ends up meeting the main characters of the seasons 1 and 2. So like we're matching the timelines right now. Yeah, that was really nice.
Okay.
And another thing that's, I mean, not so nice, and I'm pretty sure some people have heard about it, is the Olympics and a little bit of a scandal going on with
Oh.
the figure skating, the women's competition. Yeah, so Camilla Valieva, I
Is it
believe that's how you
Valieva?
pronounce it.
Okay.
Valieva, yeah.
Valieva.
She's from Russia. She's under the Olympic athletes representing Russia, so they're not competing as a nation. They're representatives. It's a little bit weird, but the reason why they have that title, right, is because of sanctions for doping, right? So illegal uses of drugs for the athletes, and lo and behold, she tested positive for a illegal substance. So there's suspicion of doping again, and the Olympic committee, was holding a meeting, I guess, a trial to figure out how they're going to deal with this. And the results came out today or yesterday. I don't remember what the timeline was, but today I kind of saw the announcement that she will be allowed to participate. And
Wait, why?
the way that they're quote unquote making it fair, I guess, is that if she medals, if she's in the top 3, nobody will receive medals.
Wait, what?
So first, second, and third won't receive any medals if she's anywhere in the top 3.
What?
And if she makes it to the top 24 for the free skate, there will be an extra person, so a 25th person added to the group. so that they take her spot as well.
What?
I don't know. I don't understand how they're doing this.
What?
I've seen a couple of commentaries on this saying that it feels like they're punishing others, like everybody involved,
That's what it
even
sounds
though
like.
it's not directly their fault at all. And I don't know. I understand that she's very young. She's 15 years old. Like her, I hope her career is not over. But this is not the
What do you
thing to
mean you
do.
understand? What do you mean you understand she's 15?
I understand
Because
it in
you are
this way.
15, you shouldn't be doing this.
Well, of course. Like I don't think for her health, right? I don't support it at all for anybody, right? Like any age, any type of athlete. But I feel like, how should I say it? When you're younger, right, and you're in a sport managed by adults, right? I feel like a lot of the responsibility falls on your team, like your management, your coaches, like who's leading you and who's helping you
Right.
do all of this, right? Like
Your
I
support
don't
group.
think she's making all the shots all by herself, honestly. So I feel like there's some responsibility there, and I feel bad that like she's in not a great position where like it. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of responsibility that is not only hers, and I feel like she has to be punished in some shape or form because she is an individual athlete in this event. But like, there's a whole team behind her,
I imagine there's a whole team behind her. Her health, her coaching staff, her mom, her dad, her cousins. I just made a terrible joke there, but you get the idea. I understand there's a
Yeah.
whole support group that with her make a lot of decisions. Maybe it's assisting her decisions. Maybe it's making her decisions for her. I don't know. Here's what I'll say though. Like, is figure skating a competition where doping is allowed?
No, it's not.
Then why are they allowing it?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's a bad call on the Olympic Committee to let her continue. And
I've
I feel
never
like,
heard of a thing where like someone gets caught for doping and so they disqualify everybody instead of just that one person.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, they're calling it like not disqualifying, right? Like, they're just saying that if she makes it to top three, there will be no medals because they don't want her to receive a medal. So whoever else is in the top three won't receive a medal either.
But
Which
why
I
not
think
just
doesn't
give it
make
to the other
sense.
three folks?
Exactly. But even better yet, I just feel like the right thing to do here, if you don't want to disqualify her directly, the conscious thing to do, in my opinion, as a team, as an athlete, is like drop out. You know that you're not gonna get this win. You're not even gonna get a medal.
No, wait.
Why are you still skating?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna refer to it the entity as Valieva's team because they made that decision together. Partially, I don't know. The Valieva team decided to give her the drugs, Stepanone lean, to do the figure skates.
Not the same thing.
Okay. You know what? If that is the case, clearly they were trying to do it in secrecy. Nobody's gonna walk up to the stage and be like, "Hello, everybody. I am high on steroids." Like, nobody's gonna begin their show that way. Everyone's gonna try to hide it because why? It's bad. They consider it bad. Ethically,
they-
legally, whatever, health-wise, whatever, right?
So you're saying that they're contesting the results. Like they're saying that's not true. It wasn't positive.
No, what I'm saying is, in an ideal world, yes, they would take responsibility for it. But if they were the kind of people who would have taken responsibility for this situation, they wouldn't have done it in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean that's true. I just feel like if you already know, then you're not gonna receive the medal. Nobody else is gonna receive a medal if you're on top three. Like, wouldn't it be the more, more compassionate thing? I guess the more empathetic thing of like, hey, I don't want to ruin the competition for everybody else. Let's step down a bit,
Right.
and like maybe they do want to contest the results. I don't know. I feel like it just feels very, how
Here's the
should I
thing.
say it? A little selfish.
I am not a figure skating professional. The only figure skates performances stages. I don't. What's the word? The only competitions I've seen were when Kim Yona and Asada Mao were active. like 10 years ago at this point.
Legends.
At this point, I am less than an armchair critic. I don't know that much about figure skating, so I do want to put that out there. I'm not a professional by any means. However, it's just that doesn't make sense. Here's my logic. Person A does something bad. Person A gets punished for being bad. Simple logic.
Yeah.
When do you learn this? Probably first grade, third grade if you're like poor at ethics for some reason. And they just denied it. They're like, oh, everyone else gets punished because we don't want to punish this other person.
I mean, honestly, the easiest like just clean decision is to just
kick her out.
You were positive, you're out. Right? Like, I think people are also concerned for a precedent now. Like, are there loopholes? Like, will others find a way to use these illegal substances and still compete? Like, I feel like it's not a great precedent to be set, right? Like, to allow her to skate, even if she's not going to get a medal, even if, like, I don't know, even if there's this context around it, I just feel like if you're going to uphold this rule, right, you need to not allow her to skate. But I'm not in the committee.
I don't understand. I just don't understand. Also, she's 15.
Yeah.
2006
so
are over here.
She's so young.
She's young. Here's what I'm thinking. You're not ruining this person's career forever because she gets she gets caught for doping, right?
Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully you learn
if
you can don't do it again.
What they should have done is disqualify her and like allow her to compete 4 years later in the next Olympics.
If she tests negative.
Right. She's still gonna be 19. 19 isn't like super old to be doing figure skating. What's the max age? Like 24, I assume?
No, there's no max age. Like you could be doing it as long as you physically can, I guess. Like if you can qualify, you're there. But
technically, assuming she lives like at least 270 in that case, she has like 12 more attempts.
I mean, realistically speaking, most people might compete like top 3 Olympics, you know? So.
Okay, fine. You have 2 more options after this one. What? I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, congrats to Nathan Chen for winning the men's gold by a large margin. That too, like very, very nice free skate that he had. Congrats to Yuma Kageyama and Shoma Uno, silver and bronze from Japan also. Congrats to them.
Okay, well, good for those folks. I'm not really paying that much attention to the Olympics at the moment, but this whole I did see like Kim Yeonna's Instagram post in the morning.
Regarding this?
Yeah, she was like, this is not. She was just like, this is not good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like former athletes, you know, like people who were in sport, like are like, no, what? This is not right.
Imagine being Valieva right now.
I feel bad, but also like this is not like there's a way out, and you could have prevented it, but you didn't. Yeah.
If I'm Valieva right now, I'm tripping hard, both emotionally and because of the drugs.
No. I don't know.
Like the entire world is not gonna be kind to this person because she holds a certain type of representation now.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, of course, like there are other people with her that are making these decisions along, but like, I don't know if they're thinking about her best interest now, because you know, like, I know that the Olympics are a big representation of a country, right? And I know there's a lot of pressure as well, but like, I don't know. It's just messy. It's messy because the committee should have just said, no, it's not acceptable, and that's that. But they didn't, and now it's weird.
No, this is... I don't even know what to compare this to, because this just doesn't happen. This just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Richardson got disqualified because of weed.
Oh, for the summer
Olympics. For the Tokyo Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like...
rules are rules. Like she was a contender for the podium as well for the U.S. And I mean, it was sad to see that it happened, but like, you gotta uphold it.
I don't understand still. How does this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up their logic. If there's a figure skating pro out there who is somehow able to
Yeah.
elaborate on this situation, please let us know at SojuTalk Podcast at gmail.com. All right. I think that's pretty much all we had for today. I wanted to
Yes.
talk about the halftime show as well, but I think we talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bit of a long one now. We just ramble
This
more.
is what happens when Doug isn't here. The role of Doug
miss you,
is
Doug.
to make sure the show goes forward without any hiccups. And we have had so many hiccups today.
We've been stressing out, like behind the scenes, guys.
We started recording like an hour late because we spent like a whole hour trying to figure out like what the Doug
but
was
yeah.
say.
Hopefully, it wasn't too rough.
Oh man. Here's the thing. Hey man. If you guys are still listening to the show at this point, 2 hours in almost.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Spotify. The way Spotify stats work now, it shows you retention throughout the entire episode. Kind of the similar way YouTube does. Like they show you like, oh, like at 1 minute mark, you have this many people still listening. At the 2 hour mark, you have this many people still listening. And obviously, it goes down as time goes by. And in this section, it was still very much higher than expected. And then like once the outro is playing, that like drops down to like 10%, I think. something
It
like
just
that.
dips.
It's the outro. Please don't listen to the outro. Anyways, it's been a long one. We're gonna have to do this again next week.
Round 2.
We'll see. I hope it's better next week.
Yeah, we'll get it.
All right, next week some releases happening. Tuesday we have Treasure. Wednesday we have Wonho. Thursday on February 17th we have Suzy, formerly of Miss A. On Monday, February 21st we have B2B, and going down with Stacy Girls. We will see which one of these cover. If I had to make a bet, I assume Treasure and Stacy will probably be safe bets.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, we've covered Stacy since the beginning.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's been SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. I've been Warren. This has been Anita.
Hi.
Yeah. No, you should say bye.
Bye.
Okay. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Lau, for joining the Patreon. Thank you, everybody. This was great. I love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Bagel, Based Mina, Brian, Shadow, Cotton Ball, Delmonic, Ellie, Genki Boy, Goku Mama, Jacob, Liam's Games and Toys, Luke Daniels, and Jay Parks. Tier, thank you for joining SojuTalk. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erday, Koala, Mafiar, Max, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, and Wolf297.